Yeah, squash bugs are very destructive. They suck juices, as I understand it, out of the foliage of the squash, and the leaves start wilting, they turn yellowy and stuff like that. And because they're a fairly big bug, uh, I don't know that I've ever found any. Uh, the insecticide usually has to be pretty strong. Seems, I'm not sure it's true, but it seems as though the bigger the bug, the stronger the medicine has to be to destroy it. And so the little ones are fairly easy to get rid of. The hard part with the little ones is seeing them. You can see the damage, but you don't see the darn bug. At least, well, my vision is not very good, so it doesn't help much. But the green, especially the green cabbage, I think it's called a cabbage looper. It's a small green worm. Well, it gets a good size if it has plenty to eat. But they start out real tiny green, then they look just like veins on the leaf. It's just the color of a cabbage leaf. Very hard to spot. All what I watch, what I see is holes in the leaves. You know, and once you see any kind of damage on the leaves of a cabbage or a kale or anything in that family, you have to start looking to find out what's doing it, because if it's these worms, you need to act very quickly.
What about on squash? One of the things that happens is if something happens just so quickly, like overnight. You know, one minute they look great, and then all of a sudden they're just ruined.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can do ahead of time? Is there any proactive measure you can take to protect them?
I think there must be, I don't know what it is, but there must be something you can plant. I was thinking maybe garlic or something like that. If you planted it in the hill with the squash, because they usually want to start. They do move out as the squash vine moves out. The bugs, of course, travel with it, but the very often the damage is in a fairly young squash plant, and it occurs when the thing is not terribly big. They can lay their eggs, and the borers dig in. I don't know what it is that lays the egg. That's another thing that I really wanted to experiment with is netting to keep the bugs off, the bugs that lay the eggs that cause all this trouble. How do you keep them off? And I think butterflies and stuff like that and moths you can keep off with. I'm not sure whether they can get through bird netting or not. You've probably seen it out there. Uh, if that doesn't do the trick, there's this remay fabric. It's like stuff for a wedding gown, almost not shiny though. It's that fluffy, very light, and light can get through it, air can get through it, but the bugs can't. It's a very, I'll show you some. It's right out there. I put it on to try to give a little bit of shade to an orchid so the sun doesn't burn it up before the leaves come out on the grapevine.
Okay, that would be great, because then we can show people also what that stuff looks like,
Yeah,
and how to purchase it, where to find it.
yeah. And I think that bird netting will also keep the critters that work on the ground, like rabbits and skunks and what else? Well, skunks are not, the worst deal with skunks is that they eat worms. And when I lay down cardboard as a mulch, there's something about it, I don't know what, it just draws worms like crazy. When you lift the cardboard, it's just crawling with worms underneath. It's wonderful. But the worm, I guess they hear them or something. I don't know how they know that the worms are underneath the cardboard, but the skunks with their pointy noses get underneath the cardboard and tip it every which way, destroy the mulch completely, and eat all the worms, which is not very helpful, because you want both the cardboard and the worms to be there. So I don't know. I've made the mulch heavier, and I put it down. I try to put it down early in the year, like in April, because that way it'll kill anything that's underneath it, any of the weeds that are starting to grow up, the grasses or whatever you want to have underneath. I did it for the whole first terrace here, and laid down cardboard that we'd saved over the winter, just old pizza boxes and everything under the sun. And then I got hay from Snacks, had a roll of hay out there, and he brought it up for me, and I used that on top of the cardboard. And then I'll be planting plants through the cardboard, just dig a hole in the cardboard. It's usually very soft in no time with the spring rains. So it's really, that works really well in the springtime. And the newspaper will work as well. You need maybe 4 or 5 layers of newspaper, and just like a shingle. And then when you want to plant seeds, I just take a knife or whatever, and just cut a line like that, and make my furrow, plant the seeds, and then I usually get some good soil and put it, if I have to cover them, put it on top and pat them down. And that has helped a lot with starting seeds, so they don't have the competition of all these weeds that might be in the ground next to them. It sort of it's mostly, you get a few weeds poking through, but not many.
Yeah. Well, that's super helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome.